Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets, and the topic for today's coaching video is: does money buy happiness? Will money actually make you happy? Funny enough, I'm out here in Beverly Hills, California today, shooting this coaching video for you. Going to do some shopping, shoot some coaching videos, and meet up with my girl. Passing Louis Vuitton here. So, question of the day is, will money actually buy you happiness? Will actually having more money make you any happier? And the short answer is, you better believe it will. If you don't think these people who are living out here in Beverly Hills who have tons of money aren't happier than you are, then you are completely deluding yourself. Contrary to popular belief, what you might have heard from your college professors, your teachers, your parents, saying money doesn't buy you happiness, don't believe it for a second, because it does. Money does buy you happiness. If you don't think these people here with money are happier than you or I, you are insane, because they are. Now, does this mean that they don't have their own problems, their own issues? Of course not, right? But whenever they do have problems, guess what? They don't need to worry about any financial burdens in order to solve that problem. Makes life a whole lot easier, right? As we walk by all these shops here. And I know it's not the politically correct answer, right? But what is not politically correct is generally the truth. Because I get a lot of you guys saying things like, hey, you know, I don't think money will buy you happiness. And I don't think having more money will make me any more happier. And you're completely wrong. It will. Now, is there a certain extent where you have too much? If you already have billions in the bank, another 5-10 billion really isn't going to make that much of a difference. But if all you've got in the bank is 500 bucks, believe me, a few $1 million is going to make a huge, gigantic difference in your life, and it will make you 1,000 times happier. Okay, now I don't want you to misconstrue this. As a man, we're born with two problems when we come into this world. First problem is money. Second problem is women, right? Being able to get those two things fixed, money and women, are going to take a lot of stress off your back as you grow older. Because I guarantee guys who have not dealt with their money issues or their dating issues are going to continue to deal with their money issues and dating issues throughout their lifetime. Make no mistake. I mean, you cannot tell me that your life will not be 1,000 times less stressful if you actually had money. If you had more money, like a lot of supercars around here, so you're gonna hear that a lot during this coaching video. But you cannot tell me that having more money in your bank account would take your stress level down from here to here. Okay, you cannot tell me that. Again, unless you already have like billions of dollars in the bank, any more money is really not, it's really not gonna make that much of a difference. But like I said, if you only have 500 bucks in your bank account, or say you're negative, believe me, a few hundred grand, it's gonna make a huge, huge difference in your life, and I guarantee you will be a lot happier. Now, like I was saying earlier, does this mean that people with money, wealthy people, rich people, don't have their problems, don't have their life issues that they need to deal with? Of course not. But having money makes things a whole lot easier, okay? Because it's one less barrier, one less problem that you have to deal with, a major problem. And again, the two major problems we deal with throughout our lives as men are, number one, never having enough money, and number two, never having enough women, never having enough dates. This is why I tell you guys, these are the two major problems that you must deal with and fix like ASAP. As soon as you come into adulthood, you need to fix your money issue and your dating issue. Because take away the money issue, take away the dating issue, your stress level in life will drop from here all the way down to here, when you don't have to worry about money or women anymore. But for today's coaching video, we are talking about money specifically. You cannot tell me that having to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to get ready for work and work this 40-hour-a-week shift And for a lot of guys these days, they're working up to 60, 80 hours a week. You know, not having enough time for their family, not having enough time for their friends, struggling to get by, barely being able to pay their bills. You cannot tell me that having more money is not going to make you happier, right? Because obviously, when you reduce your stress level, guess what? You are going to be happier, period. That's just the way it works, right? So you cannot sit there and tell me that having money will not make you happy, because it will. So let's talk about some things that money can't buy, right? Let's go back out here, do some shopping. All right, some things that money can't buy. Money can't buy friends. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it can. Because if you have money, you're gonna have a lot of people want to hang around you, right? You're gonna have a lot of friends. Will they be real friends? No, they won't be real friends. Okay, but they will get you friends. You want a social circle? You have money. You'll be able to build one very quickly because people will naturally want to hang out with you. By the way, this is the hotel that they used for filming for the movie Pretty Woman. If you remember that, with Richard Gere and what was her name? Why can't I remember her name? Julia Roberts. There you go. See that penthouse all the way at the top? That's where they filmed the entire movie, pretty much. It used to, I think in the movie it was called Regent Beverly Wilshire, but now it's like the Four Seasons. But me and Brando have gone here a number of times, done a lot of game here. Brando's my wingman, by the way. But anyway, so that's a hotel in Pretty Woman. All right, let's talk about some other things that money will not buy. Okay, money won't buy you love. Wait a minute, actually it will buy you love, right? Because you got money, you're gonna have dates. These girls are naturally going to be attracted to you because you're going to be considered in her eyes a high value male because you have resources, right? So she'll naturally want to be with you too. And she will just naturally find reasons to fall in love with you. So guess what? Money can buy love. All right, what are some other things that money supposedly cannot buy? Happiness, which is the topic of this coaching video. Will money buy happiness? Absolutely. I'll say it again and again throughout this entire coaching video. It will buy you happiness. If you don't think any of these people rolling around in their Bentley, Jaguar, Range Rover are much happier than you, believe me, they are. Much happier than you and I. Okay, because I don't have a Bentley or a Jaguar. Actually just got a Range Rover. So you know what's funny, who was out here earlier was Madeline Stowe. For you guys who remember Madeline Stowe, she was kind of a big actress back in the 80s. She was out here at the it was one of these stores. Oh, it was the Gucci store. And she had TMZ following her around. And believe me, dealing with life issues and any health problems you might have, any family problems you might have, 1,000 times easier when you have money in your bank account, when you don't have to worry about paying your bills, when you don't have to worry about paying your rent, when you don't have to worry about falling behind on your credit cards or your mortgage, right? Your house getting foreclosed or your car payments. Having money in your bank account does make you a lot happier. Do not kid yourself. Now, another argument I commonly get is, yeah, well, you know what? Rich people are assholes. Complete dicks, right? They have all this money. So having more money turns you into a dick, turns you into an a-hole. And that's actually another misconception, because the thing you have to understand about money is it does not turn you into anything. All it doesn't change your personality, doesn't do any of that. All it does is it amplifies all the behavioral traits that you already have. So whether you're a nice person or a mean person, all it's going to do is amplify the personality and those behavioral traits that you already have. So if you are a dick, all it's going to do is amplify your dickheadishness. Is that a word? I just made it up, right? That's all it's going to do. If you're a giving, charitable person, all it's going to do is amplify that, right? And you're just going to give more money away. So understand that too, that money doesn't change your personality. It amplifies your character by tenfold, depending on how much money you get, right? Obviously, if you get $100, it's really not going to change you that much, unless you're a homeless guy. But if you get $100 million, it's going to be a huge, it's going to make a huge difference in your life, and it's going to basically amplify your current behavioral traits to the 10th degree, right? By tenfold. So you got to understand that. People just cruising around. You know what? Okay. A lot of interesting characters out here in Beverly Hills. But yeah, the lie that we've been sold upon growing up, that money doesn't buy happiness, money is the root of all evil, all this stuff, don't believe it for a second. It's actually a Ferrari that was making all that noise. Yeah, don't believe it for a second. Because really, it's the person behind the money and what they're using their money for that could make them either evil or good. Because you can do a lot of great things with money. You can build schools in Africa. You can donate to animal shelters. There's a lot of great things you can do when you have plenty of money. It's just the people behind it, right? What are they doing with it? Obviously in the Bible it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And I do believe that. You know, if all you're about is, you know, just loving money and not really adding any value to the world in exchange for that money, then yes, technically it's evil. But most people I know who have money, most people who I know who are well off, as long as they're not trust fund babies, are actually adding value to the world. They've built a business that's adding value to other people's lives, and in return, in exchange, they're getting financially compensated for that. Does that make sense? So don't believe that for a second that, oh yeah, you know, money is the root of all evil. It's the person behind the money and what they're doing with it that makes them either good or evil. So we wait for this traffic light. I love how Hollywood, every single Hollywood movie that you see out there, practically every single one of them portrays rich people as being evil, being greedy, being misers, when in reality, most of the rich people I've met, people who are wealthy, are actually very giving, very charitable, and very cool, you know, very helpful. I mean, if you sit there and ask them like what they did to get rich and what kind of businesses they built, they will like literally sit there and tell you, and they'll talk to you, and a lot of times they'll even help you if you seem sincere, right? Where I don't know a lot of poor people who do that, at least not to the extent that people who have money do it, right? Because people who have money could literally be like, no, piss off, leave me alone, peasant, right? Get away from me, peasant. But a lot of them are actually pretty cool, unlike what they're portrayed as in Hollywood movies. And if you look at who's paying the majority of our taxes out there, it's rich people, right? And you'll often hear on like CNN or MSNBC that they're not paying their fair share. You gotta pay your fair share. I mean, they already pay over 60% of the taxes, right? If that's not fair, I don't know what is, right? And they're already being taxed at insane rates, where I'm surprised they haven't used their money to screw the government. I mean, because they could, right? They could completely screw the economy, and some have. It's just not what you see in the Hollywood movies. Okay, so just to wrap this up, I know I'm gonna get a ton of dislikes on this from guys who are upset that I did not give you the politically correct answer. Be like, no, money doesn't buy you happiness, doesn't buy you friends, doesn't buy you love, doesn't buy you any of that. Actually, it does. Okay, and anybody who tells you any different is not living in reality. Okay, because truth is, money does buy you happiness, does make you much happier. It totally lowers your stress level, especially if you come into a lot of money, right? If you come into a lot of money, you don't have to worry about going to work anymore. You don't have to worry about getting your ass up in the morning anymore. You'll be able to do good things with your money. You know, if you have any charitable organizations that you want to donate to, you can do that as well. There's a Range Rover. I just got one of these actually. You know, you could do good things with your money. But don't believe that myth that they sell to every aspiring kid growing up, that money is not going to make you happy, because it will. And for the reasons I told you. You know, it's not that money itself will make you happy, it's what money can do for you that will make you happy. Like I said, more importantly, I mean, the most important thing is lowering your stress levels, right? This guy's nice, dude. It'll lower your stress levels, right? You'll be able to help out family members, friends. If you need any kind of medical attention, you need surgery or anything like that, you'll be able to hire the best doctors, go to the best hospitals. And believe me, you won't have to wait either. Yeah, most people without money, they make you wait. So, now of course, obviously, you know, when it comes to the end, because I know some of the haters in the comment section will be like, oh, well, you can't take it with you. What happens when you die? Well, duh, yeah, I know. This is why I was talking about why when you have money, you want to do good things with it, okay? You want to do positive things. Sure, you want to treat yourself, right? And you should, especially if you work for that sucker and you grew up poor like I did. You grew up in Haight-Ashbury, right? Just a mile and a half from where Charles Manson, the serial murderer, was like forming his coalition to kill all these people. So yeah, you can't take it with you, that's the truth. But you know what you can do is you can do good things with it so that your legacy lives on and you're not remembered as this greedy son of a bitch who only cared about yourself and clothing yourself and feeding yourself. But then again, like I said, it's not like the Hollywood movies. Most people that I've ever met who have been wealthy and very, very rich have been very, very charitable too. Not only with their money, but with their time. So this completely just destroys that Hollywood myth that, you know, all rich people are just a bunch of, you know, dicks. It's not true. It's just not true. I've met way more poor people who've been dicks to me than rich people. A lot of rich people I ask for, you know, advice or some guidance, you know, when it comes to my business or, you know, just what I'm doing in life. Many times they're willing to just sit there and talk to me. They don't have to. Their time is money. Their time is important. But they sit there and like, oh yeah, do this, and this. Oh, this is a fast track, or I'll put you in touch with this guy. This guy is a personal friend of mine. I'll tell him that you're a personal friend of mine. They're very cool. Okay, they're very cool. Are they all like that? No, of course not. Of course there are going to be some dicks out there who are rich, who have money. But again, like I was saying, it's not money that makes you a dick or makes you a good person. Because all money does is it amplifies the character traits that you already possess. That's all it does, okay? That's all that money does. So, I hope this coaching video made sense to you. I hope you've gained enlightenment and wisdom from it. So, just to close this coaching video up, for the record, does money make you happy? You better believe it. It absolutely does. And will having more money in your life make you more happier? What do you think? Of course it will, right? Don't believe for a second that it won't make you any happier, because it will, okay? It absolutely will. Anybody who tells you otherwise is completely delusional, okay? Completely delusional. You know who I noticed loves to tell people that money won't make them happier and they shouldn't worry about money? It's actually trust fund babies. It's actually kids that come from very wealthy homes, from very wealthy families. That's what I've noticed. I grew up in San Francisco, so I was friends with a good number of these kids growing up, and they were the ones who were saying that. They were the ones who were spouting all this like, oh, you know, money's not gonna make you happy and you don't need it, you know, and everybody should be rich. It's like, yeah, because you're rich, you know, because your parents already like made their fortune. You don't have to worry about money. But for the rest of us working stiffs, we do have to worry about money. And guess what? Money will make us happier. And let us decide for ourselves if it won't. But like I said, it will. Can you seriously sit there and tell me that you'd rather live in your 1-bedroom studio apartment rather than living out here in Beverly Hills? Huh? Where are we? Right off Rodeo Drive? Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that you would rather take what you have in your bank account versus anybody else out here? You can't tell me that. And I know it's not politically correct to say, but hey, I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to give it to you straight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna bullshit you. All right, so let's wrap this up here. Can we cross? Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this coaching video up right here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets, signing out from Beverly Hills, California, Rodeo Drive, and I will see you in my next coaching video. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more upcoming Alpha Male Secrets coaching videos. Also,